Hey, Floyd, what was your reaction to the fight, man? What was your reaction to the fight, Sam?
Nah, I think Lamont won. Who you got won? Lamont.
Man, you gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned.
After the bout between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Roach, reactions poured in across the boxing world. Shakur Stevenson took to social media with a blunt assessment, saying the fight unfolded exactly the way he expected and suggesting that many viewers criticizing the outcome didn't fully understand the technical side of boxing. His comments quickly sparked debate, with some fans agreeing and others calling for an immediate rematch. Meanwhile, boxer and media personality Jake Paul voiced disappointment in Davis's performance. Paul argued that the bout lacked the urgency and intensity typically associated with a championship-level contest. He suggested that more action was needed, comparing stretches of the fight to a sparring session rather than a high-stakes clash. Paul went even further, saying this didn't look like the version of Davis fans are used to seeing. Known for explosive power and calculated aggression, Davis appeared more measured than usual, leading some observers to question whether it was a strategic choice or simply an off night. Regardless, the performance has reignited conversations about a potential rematch and what adjustments each fighter would need to make moving forward.
Nah, I think Lamont won. Who you got won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
So what?
You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or fire out of it, or is it still the same?
I mean, we're gonna see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this, so.
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in, they really...
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was going to go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on the bout, giving credit where he felt it was due. He acknowledged the strong performance delivered by Lamont Roach Jr., praising the composure, technique, and ring IQ he displayed throughout the contest. Andrade went a step further, stating that in his view, the fight should not have ended in a draw. He suggested that Roach had done enough to edge out a victory. Despite the official result sparking debate among fans and analysts at the same time, Andrade commended the overall quality of the matchup, emphasizing how competitive and technically sound both fighters were. He highlighted the high-level skill on display, noting that regardless of the scoring controversy, the fight delivered in terms of intensity and execution.
Man, he got lucky as a draw. He did a good fight, though. I thought he won it, but man, he gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God.
But, God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Lightweight contender Isaac Cruz didn't agree with the official draw, raising concerns about a pivotal sequence in the fight. He pointed to the moment when Gervonta Davis went down to a knee, arguing that it should have had a direct impact on the scoring. Cruz suggested that the referee and judges failed to properly account for that moment, implying that the lack of a point deduction, or at least clearer scoring consequences, may have altered the final result. In his view, that single instance could have been the difference between a draw and a win for Lamont Roach Jr. According to Cruz, when fights are that close, every call matters. He believes the controversy surrounding that moment contributed heavily to what many now see as a questionable decision.
The fight, Roach had something that we all wasn't expecting. He might have had power. His distance was good. He came in ready, prepared to fight, and he showcased that. And man, we had a good fight overall. It was a good IQ fight.
In all honesty, do you think Roach pulled it off?
I'm not going to say that at all. I don't think that the draw is good, you know. Other than that, it was a great fight. We'll love to see it again. It's me again, Caleb Plant, Chalo, Munguia, Edgar Berlanga. Where the fuck you motherfuckers at? Let's get this shit happen. You already know. Stop playing. Let's get these shits popping, man. Time is ticking. Tick, 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 tick.
I mean, 100%. What do you think about Berlanga's obviously opponent that he chose? I mean,
former world champion Danny Garcia offered a balanced take on the matchup, calling it an entertaining, high-level fight that highlighted the skills of both competitors. When discussing Gervonta Davis's showing, Garcia emphasized that boxing isn't always about delivering a flawless performance every time out. he suggested that Davis may not have been at his absolute best on this particular night, noting that even elite fighters can have off performances. Garcia also pointed to the unpredictable nature of the sport, explaining how difficult it is to maintain peak sharpness and intensity consistently. From weight cuts to timing to in-ring adjustments, countless variables can influence how a fighter performs. In his view, the bout was still a quality contest, one that reflected both the competitiveness of the matchup and the reality that no fighter is immune to an off night.
Pues ahora sí que dieron una gran pelea. Ahora sí que me sorprendió la pelea que dio Lamont Roach y bueno, fue una gran pelea para todos los aficionados.
¿Tú crees que fue un empate?
No, yo creo que no. Creo que le quedaron a deber la caída a Lamont Roach, pero bueno, decisión de los jueces y del referee que no le hizo válida la caída, no le hizo el conteo.
¿Qué le fue mal en esta pelea para Gervonta? ¿Qué fue lo que no hizo para que los jueces le den esta pelea? ¿Tú qué piensas?
Bueno, él nada más apostó a un solo round, a un solo golpe para poderlo noquear, y el cual Loma venía muy bien preparado, muy bien concentrado en el plan de trabajo. Bueno, creo que a Tank le faltó presionar, tirar más golpes para ser más contundente y que se viera más efectivo a la hora de la victoria.
¿Te gustaría ver una revancha entre ellos?
Pues estaría muy agradable. Ahora sí que la primera estuvo muy buena, yo creo que la segunda también.
Veteran commentator Jim Lampley weighed in on the result, noting that draws tend to leave both fighters and fans unsatisfied. In his view, decisive outcomes are what elevate big fights, especially when expectations are high. Lampley pointed out that many observers anticipated a knockout win for Gervonta Davis, particularly given that Lamont Roach Jr. had moved up in weight for the bout. Because of that narrative, the lack of a stoppage has sparked debate about whether the performance met the moment. He suggested that failing to secure a clear victory, especially by knockout, could be viewed by some as a setback for Davis, potentially influencing how he's perceived within the lightweight division. In a stacked weight class, where dominance matters, performances are often judged not just by wins, but by how emphatically they're delivered.
There's no doubt this was a statement.
Danny, what's going on, my man? What do you think of the fight?
Stay with me, right?
When the fight got announced.
Danny, what do you think of the fight, man? Are you surprised by the outcome?
It was a close fight.
It was a close fight?
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. You did a good job. You fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I
said what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do. You feel me?
It was a draw?
I don't know. It was a good fight.
Undefeated welterweight champion Terrence Crawford reacted strongly on social media to the controversial moment when Gervonta Davis went down to a knee. Crawford expressed disbelief that the referee did not rule it a knockdown, implying that standard boxing rules may have been overlooked. His post suggested that, in his view, taking a knee under those circumstances typically warrants an official count. Meanwhile, former three-division world champion Abner Mares called for an immediate rematch between Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. Mares argued that Roach performed exactly at the level he's capable of, and that many, including Davis, may have underestimated him going into the bout. According to Mares, that miscalculation could have played a role in the outcome, that he believes a rematch would give both fighters the opportunity to make tactical adjustments and settle the controversy definitively inside the ring, rather than leaving the debate in the hands of judges and social media reactions.
Bag for fans, for people in the sport, etc., etc. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots, and he wound up throwing more punches than he likes to throw to get that done. He tagged him both on the chin and to the belly, etc., and couldn't seem to hurt Roach. And that was another surprise in the overall picture of the fight.
Left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right.
He took a knee.
He took a knee. What was he doing?
I thought Roach closed the last 2 rounds. And then if you think about it, that knockdown was a knockdown. He took a knee. They should have counted. And, those 2 points, like Roach said, it would have been on his favor and he would have won the fight. But, I hope they run it back again, which I'm sure they will. And, we get more of a clear, victory for either side.
How much of tonight was Lamont Roach being Lamont Roach, and how much of it was Gervonta Davis maybe not being at his best?
It was more, yeah, well said. I think it was more of Lamont being Lamont. A lot of people were not expecting that. He was catching the punches really well, took them well. Great combinations, and just stood in the pocket and fought him right in the center of the ring. Even Tank was not expecting that, and I think that threw him off. And great great performance by Lamont Roach, and Tank Davis. He's got to fight more. He's not as consistent with the fighting, and again, the timing probably wasn't there for him this fight.
What does it say about Tank, man? Some people had him as high as top 5, top 10 pound.
You know what that's gonna say about Tank now? Obviously, people are gonna talk shit, and people are gonna put him, probably take him down on the pound for pound list, and it is what it is. But so that's why Tank has to come back and really get that rematch and really make a statement, if it's with him or whoever else.
And lastly, people wanted to know who's the best lightweight. Is it Keyshawn, Shakur, Tank? Do you think he can still beat those guys, or did Lamont show some things tonight that those guys are just?
Lamont's definitely there. Lamont can fight any of these guys.
Yeah.
My reaction for this Tank versus Roach fight, I'm really disappointed, to be honest. Like, it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and the reason why is they leaving a negative energy out there. And a lot of y'all might not understand because y'all don't come from underserved environments or was never incarcerated or things like that. I'm from DC, and I know how we get active. I know people from Baltimore, and I know how they get active. When we talk about rivalries are cool. When I'm talking Commanders, Cowboys, stuff like that, that's friendly and cool. We talk our trash, but when we talking about when it's negative and we know that Tank have a young following, things like that, and I'm seeing certain people at these press conferences, violent individuals, and things can really turn out bad. So yeah, I understand they selling the fight and things like that, but certain things, it can get real bad. And I don't want to see nobody lose their life. Let this be a healthy rivalry. Y'all go in there, best man win, and fight over. It should be all love. We got to be careful with the message that we putting out. It's Mr. We Fit.
Good night for the sport. Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, is KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that. But it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man. I didn't know what round it was. Good night for the sport. Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either. So I felt like I won it. You know, the last couple rounds. So it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I could get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight. But it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, is KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man.
Lamont Roach definitely earned my respect tonight. Definitely one of the first fighters to put Tank to the test. Just matching fire with fire. That was a good fight. For me, I need to see a rematch ASAP. But yeah, Tank definitely took the knee 100%. I see Roach winning that 7-5 personally. But boxing is business, so they were never going to let him have that win. Roach's timing was on point though. No easy knockouts tonight. The sharp counters, very good fighter. Let me know what you guys think, if that robbery was fair or not. Leave it in the comments.
Lamont Roach just got cheated. And Lamont Roach's fight versus Tank Davis just ended in a draw. And based on what I just seen, he was winning the fight. But you know what makes it worse? What makes it worse is Tank Davis took a knee. When you take a knee in boxing, that's supposed to be an automatic knockdown. They literally let Tank Davis take a knee. The referee wanted to count. He chose not to count. He went to the corner, wiped off his hair, wiped off his eye, and then kept fighting. And to me, that makes no sense. How are you able to do that and not be a knockdown? Yo, boxing is crazy, bro. This stuff is wild. And you know what makes it even wilder? His excuse said, I just got my hair done and my hair was in my eye. Bruh, cut your hair. This is boxing, man. Y'all dudes be trying to look too pretty. But with all that being said, it was a great fight. I just hate the ending. Give that man Lamont Roach the knockdown so he could go ahead and win.
Oh my god, Gervonta just lost his perfect record. His fight with Lamont Roach was scored as a majority draw. Roach threw more punches and landed more punches on Gervonta. Just look at the numbers. And was this a knockdown? Roach after the fight wasn't satisfied and he said if that was scored as a knockdown, he would have won the fight tonight. Gervonta after the fight said that some grease from his hair just got in his eyes and he couldn't see well. Crowd started booing Tank, his own crowd. We all know boxing fans. They love you one day, they hate you one day. That's exactly what Tank said. What do you think really happened? Was that because Lamont is really that guy? Or is it because Tank really needs to take time to himself, retire, go back to school as he mentioned? I don't know. But you go ahead and comment. Let's talk about it.
Well, both of us back today was that again. Nobody won. Nobody won. He can sit there and say, I didn't get knocked out. That's the only thing that's good to say. I didn't get knocked out. Maybe that was his championship because he did. You know what I'm saying? He fought a brilliant fight. Salute goes off to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank was talking about retirement stuff. That might change that. We don't know. We have to wait and see.
The great Gervonta Tank Davis. He's returning to defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach, who is moving up from super featherweight. Tank Davis is these days kind of averaging one fight a year, which is a shame. He wants to have 3 more fights and then retire by the end of 2025. Does he get 3 fights this year? Does he actually retire by the end of the year? Who knows? But this may be one of the last times we see him, at least for now. So catch him while you can. One of the most exciting, one of the most hard-hitting fighters in the sport, and we suspect once again that he wins, and I suspect that he wins via stoppage once again. He is one of the hardest-hitting guys in the history of the sport, and we suspect that if he gets by Roach, there could be some big fights on the horizon this year. We don't know, but he's got to get by Lamont Roach first. That test goes down this Saturday in Brooklyn.
Hey, man, what'd you think? The crowd didn't seem to like the draw. Did you think that was the right call?
Nah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I love Gervonta. Obviously, we come from a lot of the same shit. But I love boxing, and I seen Lamont Roach outclass Gervonta Davis tonight.
Yeah.
And I ain't against Tank. I'm just a boxer. If you ask me, I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I thought Lamont did enough to receive the victory.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't go his way. It was a good fight. His boxing fans won. And shit.
About the knockdown and no
I think if anytime you take a knee or touch the canvas, blood touch, and it's through to a bunt punch, or even if you hurt and you go down, that's a knockdown. That's what I know from the rules of boxing since it started. You touch the canvas, it was not counted. He put a halt to the fight to go get his face wiped. These are all penalties, points, all different shit. So, you know, from the game that I know if I was in that bitch, that would have been a knockdown. But it is what it is. Can't let the cash cow go. He's filling out these arenas. You're supposed to do that.
Yeah, man, G. So, I mean, he was better against Frank Martin. It looked like he was flat tonight.
Styles make fights.
Yeah.
Styles make fights.
Yeah.
And Lamont Roach is a stellar fucking fighter. If you know Lamont Roach, know his father, know his brother, know they come from a great pedigree of boxing, and you seen that tonight.